Hey friends, Randy Flickinger here again with a story I wanted to share with you about a bumper sticker, for Pete's sakes, that came out in the 90s, supposedly here in my home state of Kansas. It was called the WWJD bumper sticker or movement, and it stood for What Would Jesus Do? And it represented Christians all over, and they would put them on their car. And it was a question that, would tie what society was doing and saying was correct with what Jesus, how would Jesus handle things? Obviously, it was controversial somewhat. It was a rallying cry for Christians and non-Christians alike, because the Christians would use it to support their stance of what the Bible said, and non-Christians would use it to bludgeon Christians under the accusation of being hypocritical and judgmental in how we treated others if they didn't agree or do everything that we thought they should. And so it became a real interesting time and weapon on both sides. These little bumper stickers, for Pete's sakes. It really became kind of a pet peeve of mine now when I look back and I hear people on both sides of the coin, Christians and non-Christians alike, quoting the Bible, quoting Jesus about the society we live in, the decisions that are being made, what's a sin, what isn't, what does the Bible say, what it doesn't say. And we've gotten really bad about it. So I've decided what we really need to do is start a new campaign, and it should be, what would Jesus really do or say? Bottom line, WWJRD. What would Jesus really do? One of the things that you hear all the time is let he who without sin cast the first stone. Non-Christians, that is their favorite line to quote out of the Bible. Let he who's without sin cast the first stone. In other words, don't judge me, you hypocrite, because you fail as well. And you know what? They're right. We do fail. We all fail. I don't care who you are. I don't care how long you've been a Christian. I don't care how much time you spend reading your Bible. You still fail. We all do. And that story and that line comes from John chapter 8, verses 1 through 11, the story of the woman caught in adultery. And bottom line was, they were getting ready to stone her, even though Jesus knew it was a setup, because they weren't stoning the guy, and it takes two to have adultery happen. And it was a setup to see how he would handle things by the Pharisees. Well, the crazy thing is, Jesus sees the crowd, sees them doing that. He literally utters those words, let he who's without sin cast the first stone. That's verse 7. It's crazy. They all recognize, okay, yeah, I failed too. They start dropping the stones. It implies, today we try to imply it, that even to reference sin, even to recognize sin, is somehow judging them, is somehow being hypocritical. But that's not correct. And if you listen and read the rest of the story in the Bible, read verses 10 and 11. Jesus straightened up and asked her, woman, where are they? Has no one condemned you? This is after they've dropped the rocks and they've all left, and it's just her and Jesus. No one, sir, she said, verse 11. Then neither do I condemn you, Jesus declared. Go now and leave your life of sin. Did you hear that? See, that verse never, ever gets quoted by those who try to silence you as a Christian about recognizing. There's a difference between recognizing sin. The Bible tells me this is what's right, this is what's wrong. I can recognize that. Judgment comes in when I start saying, because what you did's wrong, God's going to do this to you. He's going to zap you. It's not my job. The Bible will cover what's going to happen. My job is to recognize it, make sure that I don't do the same things. Okay? But he literally tells them, hey, I don't condemn you either. He died for him on the cross. He died for that lady on the cross. But the line, go now and leave your life of sin, always gets left out. because bottom line is that was still acknowledgement by Jesus himself that what you are doing is wrong. And they don't want to say that because they don't want to feel bad about what they do wrong. Nobody wants to feel bad about what we're doing wrong. I don't, you don't, no one does. But the bottom line is, it's still wrong. Another example that I always use is God never gives us more than we can handle. I hear people say that all the time. The truth is exactly the opposite. God desires a close personal relationship with you. He is intentionally going to allow trials and tribulations and challenges to come into your life so that you have no resource within yourself to handle everything, and you recognize, I need him. I need that personal relationship with him. It's called faith. It's called acknowledgement. And several people will choose not to. In fact, they'll go the opposite direction. I'm angry with God. Why would he allow this to happen to me? But the truth of the matter is, he is begging you. He is pursuing you. He is chasing you, even by allowing tough times into your life to draw you to him. And before you say, well, now, wait a minute, that's not right. You shouldn't be doing that, God. How many of those bad times are our own decision? Relationship problems, finance decisions that we make that cause us problems down the road, health problems where we smoke or we drink too much or we have addiction issues. All of it, if we're honest, we've played a role in. We can't blame God, but he loves us enough. He's saying, I want you as my friend. Listen to what he says. I no longer call you servants because a servant does not know his master's business. Instead, I've called you friends. For everything that I learned from my Father, I have made known to you. John 15:15. All right? So what is he really saying in that verse? That he never gives us more than we can handle? He's talking about temptation, what I just said. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. That is in 1 Corinthians 10:13. What he is saying is when you and I are tempted, we have the strength and the power through him to deny ourselves and walk away from sin. All sin starts with self. I want to do something. I want to do this. I want to do that. I feel like I deserve to do this. I deserve to say this. This person needs to hear me say this. Those type of actions are all our choice, and they're all us not denying ourselves, okay? Let's be careful what we say and believe when we quote and we hear quotes from the Bible. Let's don't justify our failing or others failing by misrepresenting what Jesus would do or say. Ask yourself, what would Jesus really do? And if in doubt, Google on your phone, your computer, your Chromebook, your laptop, and go to the Bible and read what it says. If in doubt, open the Bible. Thanks for listening. Have a blessed day, guys.